General Manager John Robinson says they've contacted JJ's people, but the discussion there for the Titans is in the early stages. For more now, we welcome in our pal Tom Pelissero. Tom, what are you hearing on the JJ Watt front?
Well, Rhett, what's important to J.J. Watt in this process is a chance to win the Super Bowl. And practically every contender has made a call on Watt since he was released by the Texans on Friday. You mentioned Titans GM John Robinson confirmed today they've reached out to Watt's representatives. Well, the Bills are also strongly in it. The Browns are also strongly in it. The Steelers, who employ J.J. Watt's brothers, have also made a call, and so have many others. Everybody wants to speak to Watt directly before he makes a decision. It's a strong market for him, which is not a surprise. He's still playing at a high level as he comes up on his 32nd birthday. Cash is a concern for a lot of teams right now because nobody knows what the salary cap is going to be. It'll likely go down, so some teams might have to get a little bit creative to put their best foot forward and try to land a superstar. Rhett?
Yeah, obviously some moving parts there as we try to figure out J.J. Watt's next destination. But GMs and talent evaluators, executives with teams, not the only ones making their pitch for J.J. Watt, as we found out today on Instagram, where DeAndre Hopkins, his former teammate with the Texans, kind of photoshopped an image of him in a Cardinals uniform and said, hey, let's finish what we started, to where Juju Smith-Schuster, who will be a free agent soon from the Steelers, says, hey, just come play with your brothers. Everybody trying to get in on this here. But Coach Billick, where do you see the best fit for J.J. Watt?
Well, I think the key is that he needs to go someplace in a team that's looking for that complementary rusher. Now, he's a dynamic rusher, makes no mistake. Cleveland makes sense because you can counter him with Myles Garrett. That's going to be important. Pittsburgh, obviously opposite his brother, T.J. Watt. You know, it's noteworthy to notice that when Bud Dupree went down for the Pittsburgh Steelers, from that point on, they only won one game. So even though he's going to make a lot of money, for him to go someplace as that #1 guy, that lead edge rusher, certainly he can be that. But I think along with the money, which ultimately is going to be the final determination as to where he goes, to be that complement, have someone on the other side on a good championship team, potential playoff team, like Cleveland, like Pittsburgh, might be the best landing spot for him.
Yeah, and Coach, when you talk about J.J. Watt being a complimentary piece, you're absolutely right. Can this dude still go out there and dominate offensive linemen when he's put in those one-on-one situations? Absolutely, but he's just not quite that elite pass rusher that we are used to seeing from him. And so I think a lot of this is going to come down to money, and a place that I have spoke about seeing him at is a place like Tampa Bay. You just think about what they're going to be dealing with the cap situation. They got a lot of free agents to try to bring back. And I'm just thinking about two on that defensive line. You got Shaq Barrett and Ndamukong Suh. And so those are two pieces. You got to get one. If you can get one of those guys to come back for a reasonable price, and then J.J. Watt doesn't want to break the bank and he's really trying to solidify that legacy and go get a ring, I think the Bucs are a better team than anyone that would love his services for a cap-friendly type of deal. And I think he can still be a cog in the machine that would generate a lot of rush, man, put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. And he'll be playing with, hopefully, if they can get Levante David back signed up, another free agent, two of the best linebackers in the game.
Guys, those are some great teams that you guys mentioned. You know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just coming off a Super Bowl, great culture. Coach, you mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, again, great cultures. But to me, it has to be the right locker room for J.J. Watt, right? J.J. Watt is coming from the Houston Texans, where he was the guy, he was the man, he was the voice that everybody heard getting ready for games. And I think his services will be served best in that division with the Tennessee Titans. I think the Tennessee Titans will be a perfect landing spot for him. First of all, they need a rusher. I'm not sure if J.J. Watt is still that elite rusher, to you guys' point, but they do need a rusher. And Mike Vrabel. To me, Mike Vrabel is the key piece. Whoever can get J.J. Watt motivated to go out there to be dominant in spots like you guys talked about, to be dominant when the game is on the line. That's what I'm looking for with a J.J. Watt. This guy's had 20-plus sacks multiple times in this league, double-digit sacks 5 years out of the 10 years he's been in the National Football League, and only 5 sacks last year, 4 sacks the year before that. So I just look at J.J. Watt. I think he needs a little bit of a motivation, and he needs a guy like a Mike Vrabel who can kind of, you know, hit him in the butt sometimes and get him going.
Titans tried to improve that pass rush with Jadeveon Clowney last year, with Vic Beasley last year. Perhaps J.J. Watt, Mike Robb, as you mentioned, could be part of the 2021 solution. All right, it seems like Trevor Lawrence is going to be part of the quarterback solution for teams as we get close to the 2021 NFL Draft. Pushed up his pro day to account for a surgery that our Tom Pelissero says on his left non-throwing shoulder was completed today and, quote, went great. Doctors expect Lawrence to be ready for training camp. And he is the consensus #1 pick as you assess mock drafts out there on the internet right now. Our Daniel Jeremiah, no different there with Lawrence at #1. But as I mentioned, our guy's alma mater is well represented here. We're talking about Micah Parsons, who opted out of this season, but was a phenomenal linebacker at Penn State, going #7 to the Lions. Zach Wilson, coach's alma mater at BYU, going #2. And at #9, Caleb Farley, top cornerback in this class, going to the Denver Broncos out of Virginia Tech there at #9. But let's get back to the top of this draft in the quarterbacks. DJ's got 4 going in the top 10, Coach. Certainly feels like Trevor Lawrence is the assumption at #1. So then the draft really begins at #2 with the Jets' decision. Is it Wilson? Is it Justin Fields? DJ's going with Wilson. How do you see it, Coach?
Yeah, of course, we're going to pick these guys apart between now and by the time we get to the draft. But Zach Wilson makes sense. This is a big, physical guy. He's accurate. He's very, very athletic outside the pocket. 33 touchdowns, 3 interceptions his last year. Now, he's a 3-year starter, and he made a huge jump from last year to this year. So that's typically something that you look at going, okay, let's account for what that jump is. He was better than 70% last year. I would equate him most to Justin Herbert. Now, that's a very favorable, obviously, comparison to the Rookie of the Year. But he has that kind of comes up big in the big moments. I think he's that kind of demeanor going forward. I think that's obviously a very favorable comparison. I think the Jets would be well served in taking a Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, Zach Wilson's his arm talent jumps off the tape. I mean, his deep ball accuracy, all of those things. He makes some amazing throws. And I don't think, if you're in that Jets drafting room and you think he is the franchise quarterback of your future, you can't pass him up. But to me, when you look at this Jets roster, they have so many holes, man. They have so many things that they have to put around the quarterback to make the quarterback be, competent in the National Football League. So I think you can stay with Sam Darnold, right? Trade that pick back, get some more picks in the first round, get more picks, and just add some things around Sam Darnold. I think he can be a quality quarterback, especially with Matt LaFleur coming in. That Mike Shanahan system is very quarterback friendly, and I'd like to see Sam Darnold a year in that system with possibly some more weapons around him. He's a 60% completer of the football throughout his career. I think that could jump up in this offense with Matt LaFleur.
Well, and if they do hang on to
Mike LaFleur, sorry.
And if they do hang on to Sam Darnold and then take the quarterback, gives the young guy a little time to get acclimated. Maybe a situation like we could see in Atlanta, D. Hall, your old stomping grounds, where Matt Ryan is under contract. Owner Arthur Blanken said he'd be completely shocked if Matt wasn't on the roster in Atlanta next season. DJ has him taking Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State, though, at #4. How would you see that scenario playing out?
Well, DJ's right. The Falcons, they have a quarterback who's, I think, 36 years old, 35 years old, and Matt Ryan. And so you got to find the next guy, right? Matt Ryan's under contract for a couple years. His cap number jumps all the way up to, I think, $40 million this coming season. But it's too hard to get away from him right now. And so who better to teach your future player or your future star quarterback than a guy like Matt Ryan? And Justin Fields is just a phenomenal football player. From that Georgia area, the kid can make every single throw on the football field. And how much toughness did he show us in the playoff, guys? I mean, this dude should not have been on the football field. If he's my son, I'm telling him, hey, man, sit down. But that guy is a selfless leader, goes out there and wills his team to victories. I love everything about this kid. And like I said, he grew up in the background of that Georgia Dome, or the old Georgia Dome, now the new Mercedes-Benz Dome. And so I would love to see Justin Fields make his way down to the city of Atlanta and, get a year or two of tutelage under Matt Ryan, and hopefully can get the reins of that city and that team to him, because, Atlanta has a little bit of a cap situation, and we all know at some point they're going to have to move on from Matt Ryan.
And then DJ has North Dakota State's Trey Lance, the 4th quarterback off in the top 10, going to the Carolina Panthers at #8. If you want to tell DJ how wrong he is, I invite you to do so at Move the Sticks on Twitter.